Hi, this is Scott from FirstNIF, and we're going to take a moment just to go through generating a general qualifications booklet. Um, right here, we're at the primary starting screen here, or the launch pad. I'm going to go into FirstNIF Builders because I want to actually build a general qualifications book. So we're going to choose GenQuals Builder. GenQuals Builder, once I click on that, will actually open up the builder for creating a general qualifications, general qualifications builder. Um, it's automatically defaulting over to, or it starts right out of your organization field. And I'm going to go through and just kind of pretend that we're building one here. And the first thing we need is who's the owner of this project, or really who's the quals going to. So let's make up a name here, and we'll call it Mr. Honda uh, Dealership. Okay, the project name and location is, well, is there a project that we know of? We can leave this blank if we don't know what the actual project is, or if, let's say that they are going to be building a new 40,000 square foot uh, addition to Honda dealership. Okay, just a real general, here's what the project is, if we don't actually have a name for it. And let's say that that's actually in Warwick, Rhode Island. Okay, the architect, if we know the architect, we can put it in here. If we don't, no big deal. Specifically, not a big deal on a general qualifications. Now, the thing I should mention is this information over here is kind of optional for a general qualifications. For a proposal or other, kind of mandatory submittal, or one that's got a true due date and number of copies due and that kind of stuff, then yeah, this becomes a little bit more important. But for this, just the general quals, not so much so. Um, if we don't know our architect, we can just simply skip that and leave it blank. Now, anytime you see something defaulting in a field, that's basically just a visual clue to you as to what goes in that field. It won't actually print anywhere. Now, market segment, we're going to select, what is the market segment here? It's automotive. Now, everything that we're doing at this point in the builder is actually affecting a lot of stuff that you're not seeing happen, because in the background, a book is being generated right now. You'll see that momentarily. Now, the scope of services. Well, what is this quals for? Let's say, here's our typical ones. We'll choose design build. Now, with any of these fields, you can go in, you can type anything you want to. All we're trying to do is to find the most likely answers so that it's rare that you'll have to type anything. The title is automatically defaulted to general qualifications because that's what this is. Now, we've got a red arrow here, and as you've noticed, anytime there's a red arrow, that can do something. So what I can do is I can add the scope to the title, so it's general qualifications for design build services. Yeah, it's just something to save you from typing. And then the subtitle, when we click on that arrow, it says, okay, we've got some choices here. Now, currently, the choices are available are, well, we can choose this little tagline, exceeding client expectations in client markets. Or we can say, we can choose the tagline, which is integrity, commitment, excellence. Or if you notice, we got market expertise. Now, what market expertise will do as your subtitle is proven expertise in whatever market segment you had selected up here. So this one's saying proven expertise in automotive project delivery. The other option is to select project, which is going to put as the subtitle the project name from up here. For this case here, let's just take market expertise. Okay, and then the last thing we need to do at this point is select who our primary author, or more accurately, who your point of contact is for this submittal, or in this case, qualifications. And you've got your three most likely choices here. It's going to be MS for Matt Sluter, GP for Greg Post, ES for Ethan Sluter. Choose MS, okay, for Matt, and then if I go down to the next page. Okay, so what we've just done here is we're basically creating the background information that's going to help us create this book. So what I now need to do is we need to build our cover. Now, when I say build our cover, what it's going to really do is it's going to let us select which images go on it. So I'm going to select automotive. Now, if I go and look at the cover, what I'm actually doing at this point. Everything's already built. There's your title that you create, your subtitle. Here's who it's for and who it's prepared by, or your point of contact. Now, when I selected auto just a second ago, it just changed all these images. What it's actually doing is I could have chosen, well, let's do commercial office. Okay, well, what it's done now is just taken a set of commercial office type projects. Let's go back to automotive. Okay, and then I'm going to go back to where we're creating. So that's what build cover does. It's saying choose your starting image set. You can change any of those, not a problem. Load a highlight set. At this point, what we can do is we can go right out to in the data area. We've got highlight sets, and we can have unique highlight sets for each market that we're actually pursuing. So what that's going to do is it's going to fill the document with a starting point of automotive related highlights, or at least highlights that are more relevant specifically to this client. We can load a resume set. Load a resume set is basically just like with highlight sets. We need to go now, instead of highlights, we're going to back out and go to team. So there's team and resume sets, and we'll just take our key personnel. What it's going to do is it's now going to insert this pre-created or already created, let's say, set of resumes. I'm going to also load a project set. Okay, now the project set, instead of team, we want to go back up to projects, and let's take a project set, and we'll take the automotive projects set. Now what this is doing is it's saving us from actually creating a custom set right now, although possibly that may be what you want to do, because you can just as quickly create a custom set right at the point where you're creating this. So if we take a look now, so we've done our project set. I also want to do is let's go out to section 5. And this is where we can put references in. Now with references, what we're going to do is we're going to select the projects that we want to use as references. We can also load a pre-existing set of references, just like we did with the others. But in this case, I'm going to say, let's import. And I'm going to select the project that I want to take the reference from. So let's say you want to take the reference from, we'll go down and take Inskip Automall. And we're going to add it to our list. Okay, so hey, there it is. Now the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to grab another one. Let's say that we want to take the reference from, I don't know, we'll take Cintas Corp. Okay, and add it to the list. Okay, now this one we don't have an email, so we can either add the email or just delete it. Let's also import another one. We'll say let's use the reference from 10 Deval and add that to the list. So basically what we're able to do is to very quickly create a customized on-the-fly list of references. So very, very quick, very easy to do. So at this point, what we've actually done, if I go back to the start here, is we've essentially just finished our book. We've got our sections. So there's section 1, and we can just kind of scroll through it. What I'm going to do is let's take a look at the pages here. You can see there's our table of contents was created. Here's our organization overview, our construction services, with all the appropriate highlights that are really, as we said, kind of related to the automotive industry where we can. Now, so all of these buttons here allow us to make custom changes on the fly to these documents, but we'll do that in the next little tutorial. In this case, we've generated our general qualifications here. So what I want to do is I want to save this book. What this is now doing is taking everything that we just created and pulling it out of the builder. So essentially the builder is kind of like the wrapper that lets you create this. This has now made it into a standalone document. What you then want to do with your standalone document is to go in and flatten it, because at this point here you can still make changes to it. I can click on here and change images, or I can add captions down here. I can change this information, or I can actually go into the document itself and make changes. I can load different content, that sort of thing, add highlights. But if I go back home to the start here, as soon as I say flatten, what this is now going to do is it's basically remove that capability and it's created a flattened document that will not allow you to go in and make any additional changes at this point. So now that we've done that, it's still a temporary document, but I want to go in and I want to save it. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to save it to submittals, and we're going to create a folder in the submittals folder called Mr. Honda Quals, or just Mr. Honda, and we'll open that up and we'll call it Quals dash. Okay, great. Now what I'd also typically do would be to put, what's the date we're doing this. So let's say we're doing it at 2011-06-30 and save that. And what this is now creating for us, there's our quals book. Now there's going to be some things that we want to do with it at this point, but the point of this initial session was just to generate a general quals, to do it quickly, and to have something that is actually targeted to a specific industry.